It feels like now, more than ever, there's this strong and prevalent push that to do any activity, we need to buy things or tools in order to do the activity right or better. Whether that activity is relaxing, cleaning, or live streaming. Oh, you know what I should do is open all the shelters. No, uh-oh. Sometimes that's even true. Buying those items or tools make a huge difference, but honestly, most of the time they're not worth it. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to my Twitch chat. Wait, script. Let's take that from the top. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Elscapades. Or simply welcome if you're brand new here. For a little while last year in 2021, I tried out Twitch streaming before I decided it wasn't for me. From the very start, I told myself I'm not going to spend too much money on Twitch because I was mostly sure that I wasn't going to do it forever. It didn't always work, but that's what this video is here for. Okay, now back to what you're here for. My Twitch upgrades, how much I paid for it, and if I still think it's worth it now that I stopped streaming. I'm going to start this off with the artwork and graphics, and I actually broke this down into 3 separate parts. I'll tell you why later. But first, I want to have a moment of silence for my poor unpaid artist who had to do all the custom artwork for free with unlimited revisions. Obviously, that was a joke, so please don't burn me at the stake via comments. But in all seriousness, please pay our artists. The reason I'm splitting the artwork upgrade into 3 separate parts is because I do believe each of them serve a different purpose and they have their own separate impact on your audience. The 3 separate parts are going to be your overlay, your panels, and your badges plus emotes. I'm going to start with the overlay because that's the first thing your audience sees when they watch you stream. If you don't know, the overlay is basically the art or graphics that go on top of your stream. This can be as simple as a frame around your webcam and maybe a live counter of how many subs and followers you have. Or you can go all out and include the names of your new followers, new subscribers, new donors, and the amount they donated and gifted subs, etc. The point is, you have a lot of options on what you can include in your overlay. I'm also including the starting soon, BRB, and ending screens in this category. Again, I made this all myself, so I didn't spend money on it, just a lot of time. Unless you include my tuition fees, which, just for comparison though, I looked up Twitch overlay package on Etsy, and they go from anywhere about $8 and up. Now, do I still think it's worth it? My answer is no. I don't think that overlays are worth it. If you know how to make your own graphics, I say go for it, but I don't think it's worth it to pay to clutter your own screen. Trust me, you're gonna get excited wanting to show the name of your new followers, subscribers, donors, gifted subs, the amount that they donated. Before you know it, your audience can barely see your game, your drawing, or your face. You know, the thing or things that you should really be highlighting in your stream. If you really want some art in there, then consider investing in just a nice webcam frame with a dedicated space to show off your new subscriber and new donor. Maybe a sub-gifter. Those are your paying customers, so to speak. For everyone else, pop-up alerts are fine and you can make or get that for free. If you want to know where I did mine, stick around for the end of the video. Now, let's talk about your panels. This goes in your About page, usually as banners or headers. It can be as simple as a solid or gradient bar with text, or it can be a little extra like mine. Under that banner is the body section where you just type out the relevant information. These panels can also be clickable links to your social media. This is something that most everyone can do themselves using a free program or maybe a site like Canva. In fact, if you would be interested in seeing a video where I try to create Twitch panels or other graphics on a free site like Canva, let me know in the comments down below. I've never tried that, but now I'm a little curious. Anyway, to answer the question of is this worth it or not, I absolutely think panels are worth it, but they're not worth paying for. See why I had to separate the artwork into 3 different categories instead of lumping it all together in Twitch art stuff group? This is because of how the Twitch About page is structured. It adapts to your window or device size, so it's basically a free-for-all. So if all you have is pure text, it can get messy and confusing really fast, depending on how much information you have in there. That little JPEG or PNG banner is going to make a world of a difference in user experience. Finally, the one you've all probably been waiting for, emotes, plus the badges, but from my experience, people were more excited about the emotes. Now, I stopped streaming before the Twitch overlords finally graced its users with animated emotes, so I only have experience with the regular JPEG or PNG versions. People love instant gratification, which is what the emotes and badges are. You pay to subscribe, and then you get access to these. Of course, you have to stay subscribed to keep using these, but that's besides the point. I custom made my emotes to resemble my childhood friends and my husband, seeing as they've been part of my Twitch escapade from the start. After I made affiliate, I found out you only get one emote slot until you get a higher number of subscribers. I made affiliate after I already finished about 3 emotes and had about a couple more ready to go. So I also uploaded them on the Discord server I use with my friends, meaning they all got instant and free access to an emote as soon as I finished one. Now, to answer the question, yes, it's worth it. But this comes with a huge disclaimer. Don't pay for anything until after you've reached affiliate at the earliest. Also, do one emote at a time. I would also say that emotes are a better investment over badges because your subscribers can use these in other streamers' chat. Also, don't spend a lot of money on your first emote and or badges because you can change them after you're making an actual profit. That's it for the art. Now we're moving on to equipment type things. Don't worry about having to memorize names or model numbers since I'm going to put a link in the description. I know some people save the best for last, but today we're not going to do that. We're gonna skip straight to the best part because you deserve it. Let's start with a microphone. Look, I grew up on early 90s to early 2000s graphics, so my eyes can handle a lot of quality graphics. But my ears, your ears, especially with earbuds on, or worse, headphones. Your eardrums deserve to be spared from the sudden peaks in volume caused by screaming at horror games or sudden loud alerts. Especially because your hearing might be all you have left after your phone and computer screens F up your eyesight way too early. Wait, what? Nothing. Now, to answer the question of is this worth it? It is absolutely worth it to upgrade your microphone. Obviously, you don't have to spend as much as I did. There's a lot of good reviews for something like the Blue Yeti Snowball, which go for as low as $40 plus tax. It would probably still be better than most built-in microphones included in earbuds, headphones, and webcams. Definitely do your research, but don't feel compelled that you have to get one before you start, or that you even have to get the best one right away. I'm just saying, if or when you're ready to invest money into your streaming career, I would put microphone at the top of the list. Next up is webcam. If you don't even plan on showing your face, you can skip this. But if you do want your audience to see your beautiful face, then I recommend a webcam. Technically, I already had my webcam for at least 2 years before I even started streaming, since I regularly talk to my family and friends overseas. To answer the question, I do think it's worth it. I understand that a lot of shy and or introverted people would be hesitant to show their face, but I do recommend it. I believe that a huge part of the live streaming and or Twitch experience is your ability to connect with your audience. Showing your face helps a lot with that. It might not sound like you would have a connection because you as a streamer would be staring at a lens, but I swear once the conversation starts going, it just works. Next up is a dedicated camera. Since I feel that the whole webcam versus camera question is pretty prevalent, once you get onto the to stream or not to stream scene, I'm including this. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. I did not buy or use my camera for streaming. I got a camera in late 2019 for personal reasons, and I was streaming from late 2020 to early 2021, but the whole time I did use my webcam. I'm gonna explain why. To use it for streaming, I would have at least needed a power cable, so I don't have to rely on battery. Then I would have needed a cable to connect it to my computer or get a $100 capture card. Then I would have had to get a tripod and set it up behind my desk, which isn't really viable for me. It was just a lot more trouble than it's worth, and honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Look, I streamed myself playing video games. My face cam only took about 20 to 30% of the screen at most. But even if your face takes up the whole screen, chances are your audience is watching you through their phones. And honestly, I don't think that the difference in quality from webcam to a dedicated camera is worth hundreds of dollars when you're just starting out. I say stick to a webcam. Next up is lighting. I get it though. You still want to look good even if your audience is only seeing you through a tiny face cam on their phones. The good news is you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to do that. Instead of a fancy camera, what you actually need is better lighting, and I don't even mean a ring light. Literally, a lamp near your face would be good. Sure, you can get fancy if you want, especially with RGB, but honestly, you don't need it when you're just starting. My husband chose to get the smart RGB bulb because he's extra, but we got the floor lamp itself for free from a friend who was moving. To answer the question, yes, it's worth it. Honestly, the only, or at least main ways you can mess up lighting is to have it directly on the top of your head or under your chin for some reason. Think telling creepy stories in the woods with a handheld flashlight. Even then, that might work if you're playing a horror game. Next up is specifically a second monitor. I'm not going to include the first monitor because obviously you need that in the first place to do anything. But if you choose to live stream over pre-recording a video, I'm going to go ahead and guess that you want to socialize with your audience. In that case, you're going to need to see the chat. If you're not interacting with your audience, please let me know in the comments down below why you're streaming, because I kind of think you're missing the point. But I can also be wrong and you have an alternate reason, and now I'm kind of curious. To answer the question, I don't think it's work. It is very useful to see reference photos without having to switch screens or sacrificing workspace. So I figured, why not kill two birds with one stone? Otherwise, I was perfectly fine using my phone or the tablet that my husband already had to view chat. Next is Spotify, which I know sounds a little weird. But if you've been watching YouTube, you probably know what copyright strikes are. Simply put, if you use the media you don't have the right to in your video or live stream, say for example music, then they can take your video down. You get the point. Although this would be a pretty good transition into a sponsorship for copyright-free music, if I had one. But anyway, well, I tried to talk as much as I can. Talking nonstop is not an easy thing for me. I also turned off most or all of my in-game sounds because I was a little iffy on whether that would get me a copyright strike or not. But awkward silence was not the vibe that I wanted to promote, and so I made a Spotify account and played stream beats. Specifically, I play the lo-fi music, which I'll put a link to in the description down below. This is not at all sponsored, but I mean, if they want to. Anyway, the ads got pretty annoying, so I actually paid for the ad-free experience. Looking back on it now, it was not worth it. If I was less lazy and more committed, I probably would have just downloaded the music I liked from the lo-fi playlist and just used that. I'm sure he has it available somewhere for download. Finally, for the last item on my list, I'm just gonna go ahead and call this a Twitch extensions category. Specifically, I used a chatbot and stream alerts. Now, I was lucky enough that my husband and a couple of friends were available during my stream times to act as chat moderators. But as we all know, life has a way of getting in the way, so I couldn't and didn't want to rely on that alone. Luckily, there's a few options out there for chatbots. The gist of it is with chatbot, you can automate certain things like posting reminders about your rules, or even putting someone in timeout if they say or do something, like being rude on chat or spamming. But what I really enjoyed playing with was stream alerts. I used streamelements.com and linked it to my Twitch account, so it recognized real-time updates like new followers, new subscribers, etc. You can customize the text, image, and even the sound it makes when it's activated. Now, to answer the question, it is absolutely worth it. I only knew how to do the most basic of things with the chatbot, but I love the stream alerts. It's free to sign up for, and it's pretty easy to learn. It can be really simple or as extra as you want it to be. I think this is a lot better than paying for and cluttering your own stream, since the alerts only pop up when they're triggered, and they only stay for as long as you want them to. To make a long video short, here's a summary of the upgrades I mentioned in this video. You might have noticed I mostly mentioned non-hardware upgrades. This is because 1, I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and so I didn't buy a lot of hardware. And 2, I'm not really big on learning, or at least retaining, hardware specs. So I don't think I'm really qualified to talk about that for gaming and or streaming needs. Even back when I did my own research, I promptly forgot everything as soon as I bought whatever piece of tech I needed to buy. My own Excel sheet became gibberish to me. The knowledge just as gone as I am since you've now reached the end of this video. But unlike my research, I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye! I'm going to start when I hit stop screaming. I was about to say screaming. There's a lot of pretty good... If you want to know where I did mine,